How is it going, guys? Eddie Hates Anime here, and today is a hype video because we are going to be going through my anime list, talking about every single anime of this upcoming season, whether I'm going to watch it, and just some overall thoughts, some very surface level going into the season thoughts for shows that I don't know anything about, and then maybe some more detailed ones about the ones that I do. I don't know, we like to have fun around here. I don't have any script today, so maybe we'll end up just yapping more than usual. I have no idea yet. I feel like it's always a yap fest here anyways, especially with these seasonal videos, and I'm glad to finally be back into the groove of doing these, because I didn't make one for the summer, so whoops. Now we are about a week and a half into the winter season, so some of these shows have started, but there's still plenty that haven't, and I'll just talk about if I've already seen the start of something or not, and just we'll get into all the meat and potatoes. But without further ado, let's get into it. We got my anime list. We'll start with TV new, and then go, maybe we'll talk about a couple continuing shows, and then we'll do ONA, OVA, movie, and special, and just do it like that. So first off, we've got Frieren Beyond Journey's End Season 2 peak. Definitely gonna be watching Season 2. Really, no much more to say than that. Actual peak. Like, I don't think anyone who's watched it has disliked it. Anyone who's read it has not liked it. Very peak manga and anime. Next, we've got Hell's Paradise Season 2. I have not watched the Hell's Paradise adaptation. I don't even know what the general consensus on it is. I guess I could check Season 1's Mal rating and stuff, but even then, I don't trust Mal ratings for anything. I like talking to real people and hearing actual opinions. Not to say my anime list isn't filled with real people, but I like to have like actual dialogue, whether it's a conversation IRL, a back and forth communication on the internet, an actual structured conversation instead of just looking at numbers and scores and reviews on here. Does that make sense? I guess that's a bit hypocritical because I am a self-proclaimed reviewer myself, but at the same time, I try to not encourage just listening to reviewers and making your opinions off them. Also, Sheen is showing this, which I was actually looking at yesterday. This is pretty hype. Oh, okay. Season 1 actually has a pretty good score. 8? Anything above an 8 on Mao, I think is really good. Fair enough. Didn't Mappa do it? It is Mappa. I remember that. So am I going to be watching Hell's Paradise Season 2 this season? No. Am I going to watch it eventually? Maybe. We'll see, because I don't hype the series. And, you know, if the adaptation's hype, then at least I got it as a rainy day show that, like, you know, if I ever need something to throw on and need an absolute banger for that day, I got it. Next, we've got Jujutsu Kaisen Season 3 sequel to Jujutsu Kaisen, second season. Who would have thunk it? I absolutely adore JJK's adaptation. Season 1 is really good, but it is the case of just the art style and animation, like philosophy shift changing in Season 2 onwards with the less thick lines and that softer kind of details to be able to animate more loosely and fluid and just make it easier is pretty much what I've gathered has been like the thoughts on that change, and I think it worked out for the absolute best. It looks so clean. Oh my goodness. And Season 2 was absolutely a treat. Season 3 adapts the Kunon games, which I love, and there's a scene with Maki that's like my favorite scene in the whole manga, so I'm really hyped to see that. Definitely peeping this. Actually, I already started peeping this. I watched the first episode, because both the first 2 episodes premiered today. I just haven't gotten to the second one yet. Probably will after this. And that first episode slapped. So, yeah, let's move on. Next, we got Oshinoko Season 3. Guys, I don't care what anybody has to say. I still love this series so much. I low-key... Okay, when did this manga start? I was gonna say I low-key grew up on this manga in my teenage years, but I don't want to be lying. Okay, 2020. I was like 17, 16, 17, 6, okay. If I'm doing my math right, hold on. I was like 16 turning 17 that year. It started April 23rd, so I was probably 17 already. But I read it basically from the start, like pretty close to the start. Also, Kaguya-sama was publishing at the same time. So Akasaka was one of my top mangaka at that time. I was so in love with this dude's work. And I still am. And I'm just hyped for Season 3. It adapts some stuff that I really enjoy, and more music's going to be hype. And just a great series, in my opinion. And like I said, I understand if people think otherwise. I just really have such a love for this series. Alright, let's move on. This one is an interesting one. Sentenced to be a Hero. I watched the first episode. I wasn't going to. It was in my maybes, but I was considering just not watching it. I knew nothing about it. I should have done my research, because when episode 1 dropped, the noise was loud. Everyone was hype as shit. I saw that it was an hour-long episode, and not like a 40-minute episode or an hour-long episode with like 10-minute credits. No, it was a 58-minute straight of animation and content. And it was really good. I actually half complain, half really like this trend of the either 45-minute to hour-long premieres or the 2 episodes dropping at once, because on one hand, it makes it hard to keep up with all this stuff on the first week, because like today, for example, Champignon Witch dropped 2 episodes for their first ones. Jujutsu Kaisen Season 3 dropped 2. The Death Game anime, I forgot the full name of it, like Shiboyugi something, we're going to talk about it later here, dropped a 47-minute episode. And just, it makes it overwhelming when you thought you only had like 3 episodes, and then suddenly you have a bunch more. But at the same time, more for the hour-long episode premieres, or the longer episode premieres than the 2 episode premieres, because that's just 2 episodes. But structurally and storytelling-wise, you can change how you present your story and the framework of that with an hour, with 40 minutes, with whatever, from beginning to end without a break in between. And Sentenced to Be a Hero took full advantage of that. I have no idea how the quality of this is going to end up being. I didn't know this at the time of watching it, but someone in my TikTok comments told me it was the same team as Mushoku Tensei. I'm not sure what they mean by same team, if it's like the whole same team, because like, yeah, it's probably the same studio. I don't even know. We can check, but at the same time, things can be the same studio and be done by totally different teams. So it doesn't seem they're the studio for that, which I didn't think they were anyways. But I don't even remember who's the studio for Mushoku Tensei's anime. But regardless, first episode is extremely strong. I like to err on the side of caution with these sort of things. Like, enjoy that first episode for what it is. Recognize that, one, there's no way it's going to be the same quality the whole time. It'll probably still be very good at best. Like, still very, very good. But for this specific episode, like, you could even compare it to movie quality almost. I wouldn't say quite there, but it's really good, right? Because it is this premiere that's probably been worked on for quite a while. Worst case, though, is that it just decreases in quality. I don't think that'll happen, and I don't want to speak that into existence. But despite all of the animation things, it's just the easiest thing to talk about because it's Sakuga. The actual story content, I still find very interesting and still really want to see. So no matter what the quality ends up being, quote unquote, I'm still gonna keep peeping this and would probably read the light novels. I really love the concept of the heroes being a punishment. It is a punishment to be a hero. And they revealed some stuff at the end of the episode with the main character's past, and it's really interesting. It is really interesting so far. I think a part of the big hook is the fact that it was that long of an episode, because it almost felt like watching a movie. I mean, anime movies being an hour long would be nothing new, to be fair. So you could call that a movie. I mean, what? Garden of the Woods is like 45 minutes, and that's a Shinkai movie. Same guy that did Your Name, Weather With You, and Suzume. So, like, you know? But yeah, very strong first episode. And in general, not talking about this, but in general, people will hype the fuck out of first episodes because first episodes are obviously going to have the hooks to shows. And then have expectations of how things are going to go that just are not that the case. And then you see a bunch of people saying shows fell off or this or that. I just try to go week by week with it. So super hype with this episode. Still am very much looking forward into the future. Not going to try and go, oh, I hope it goes like this. No, I'm just going to take what it gives me because I've seen what they can do when they make some magic, and it's pretty good so far. And if the whole series keeps it up from that first episode's momentum, it could be one of the better newcomers to the anime sphere in this year especially. I mean, it's the start of the year, but it would be a strong contender. Let's move on. Next, we've got Fire Force Season 3 Part 2. When I made my spring anime video last year, actually, saying I didn't catch up on Fire Force's anime yet, I still haven't. I've gotten closer, still not there. So I will watch this at some point. I would like to do it this season because I know what it's adapting, and I'm super hyped for that. And I don't even want to talk about it because I don't want to accidentally spoil stuff. If you know, and how the art style is starting to low-key look like, I'm just saying, I'm hype as shit. Yeah, if I don't get to it in the season, I will definitely get to it as soon as possible, because I really would like to see that adapted. Fate Strange Fake! Absolute Peak is back! Ah! I'm so hyped for this, guys. If you like Fate at all, if you've seen Fate at all, please watch this. It is gonna be peak. It's gonna be absolutely peak. I don't even know what to say. If you haven't watched Fate, I probably wouldn't start with this. I guess you could, but I feel like a lot of Fate spin-offs assume that you've seen Fate, which is why I also get weird about recommending Fate Zero not first, because it assumes that you've seen Fate. It's a Greek tragedy, you're supposed to know. But I mean, I don't care what people do, it doesn't affect me. But if I'm going to recommend someone Fate, I'm gonna say start with either the visual novel, or if you're gonna watch Fate, Low-key, watch the Saber route from D in 2006, and then UBW, and then Heaven's Feel. I'm sorry, it's the order. But I don't know. I'm not going to get into that whole conversation. Although I just have a soft spot for Dean's adaptation. Ah, damn it, no script, I'm yapping. Okay, Fate Change Fake. As you can see, quite loved so far. And yeah, it's a very interesting part of the Fate franchise. Super hyped to see the rest of it. Fate's perception in the public eye is already great. But adding another really well animated series with a really good story as well, because Fate has never just been Sakuga. If anything, I think there's a lot of visual novel fans that don't like that the series has been reduced to that in the eyes of the public, because it's so much more than that. But that's a conversation for another day. But the public perception of Fate, I think, outside of the annoying, like, oh, it's confusing to get into stuff, I think is generally pretty positive. Like, people who haven't seen it probably still would assume it's quality. They just don't know where to start. I don't know. Let's move on. Next, we've got Chain Soldier Season 2. I have not seen Season 1. I've had the manga in my read list for about years now. I don't know how many years. When did this start? 2019? So probably since about 2019, 2020. I'll get to it at some point. I mean, I'm sure it's good. I really liked the art of the manga cover that I was actually just looking at. So that's pretty much why I added to my read list. I don't know anything about it. Next, we got My Hero Vigilante Season 2. I love My Hero Vigilantes. Already watched the first episode of the season. One thing I really like about Vigilantes' adaptation that main anime didn't really do is the little comic dots, all the pals and the things and all that stuff. From the get-go, this adaptation has really leaned into the comic influences a lot harder than My Hero did initially. Not to say that My Hero obviously isn't influenced by that. That's why I bring up the adaptation, because this just does it a lot more. With that said, the original My Hero still very much wears its influences on its sleeve. I'm just talking visually here. And in general, I've always vibed with Vigilante's story a little bit. I don't want to say more than the original My Hero, because I think that the main My Hero is better, but I have a lot of fun with this series as well. I don't know. They're so different for being in the same universe, featuring a lot of similar characters with a lot of overlapping themes and stuff, because the messages are still going to be the same positive things. But I don't know, there's something, maybe it's because the series has been that edge factor, because it is Vigilantes. Maybe that's why I like it, outside the law. Something about this series is always it's always made me have a soft spot for it a bit more than the main series. And maybe it's because it is that underdog, like low key, I know people have their thoughts about My Hero, but this does slap. Please read it. It doesn't help though that the My Hero franchise, more specifically the main anime, has had a weirdly bad rep for a while, and then I think it got back to having a good rep. But that could have just been because of the whole fan base making fun of them debacle that was like a thing for a while and still is. I think just that whole the fan base is weird, so the show must be not good. I don't even know what the thought process is, because I'm not saying that the fan base doesn't freak me the fuck out sometimes, but I don't have that in my mind when I watch a series. I've never once watched anything and thought about another human outside of maybe the creators or the animators. Does that make sense? I don't know. This is why I gotta start writing scripts for these videos too, because I just start talking about stuff that has nothing to do with it. Trigun Stargaze. I would like to watch this. Am not there yet. I still need to watch Stampede, which came out forever ago, and I think I started it, but I just didn't finish it. But I have nothing against it. I'm actually really interested to see how they adapt the main stuff now, because Stampede led into this, and I'm assuming we're at where the original anime started, or the manga. And I'm assuming they're going to adapt the manga from here on out. I don't know. I actually just don't know. And I know people have their thoughts about how it looks. I get it. It's CG 3D. I mean, Vash had different hair in Stampede. Obviously, it's the OG hair now. And I think those thoughts are valid, because modernizing something that didn't necessarily need to be modernized, I can see the trouble in that. And then the whole trope of the character having to earn the suit, or in this case, the character earning the hair and the things or whatever. But I don't know. I haven't seen enough to have real thoughts on it. But I personally kind of fuck with the art style and stuff. I kind of like what I've seen from it. Now, I think at the end of the day, the manga is the best form of Trigun. And I don't think that this new Trigun's aesthetics can beat the 90s one, because at the end of the day, while I will criticize nostalgia blindness, I am susceptible to it as well. I'm not immune to nostalgic propaganda. And nostalgia aside, the art style is still very distinct and whatnot, so it match it as much as you try. But because you're doing CG and because it is 2026, it is just going to come out a little differently. But I don't know. A lot of that was me making guesses because I haven't seen all of the series. Next, we've got, I believe this is, yeah, Jack of all trades, party of none. Not on my list. I thought about it, but you know, it's a weird thing with these fantasy series. I've seen enough to kind of know if I'm going to like it or not going into it. I'm not saying I wouldn't like this. I just don't think I would like it enough to make it worth it to watch, I guess, right now. Down the line, sure, I could throw it on, but it just doesn't seem like a must-watch now to me. But if you're going to watch it, I hope you enjoy it. Next, we've got Golden Kamuy Final Season. I have not watched any of the Golden Kamuy anime. Once again, happy for people that like it. It's in Season 5. I got a high score so far. You know, I'm sure it's a decent enough adaptation, you know? So, W. Alright, next we got Tamons B-Side. Or Tamons B-Side. I keep calling it Tamons B-Side because the Japanese title has Tamon-kun in it, but then the English title doesn't have kun in it, which makes sense because it's not a direct translation, it's a localization. This is a very fun one. 2 episodes are out so far. It was the first winter anime that I actually started this season, and I wasn't originally going to watch it. It was not on my watch list at all. But because it was the first one to come out with episodes of the new season, I didn't really have anything to do besides watch it. And I really enjoyed it. It's really cute. It's really sweet. It's got idol stuff. It's got boy idol stuff, which is always a plus. And yeah, this seems like one that I'm going to really, really enjoy for vibes and for cuteness more than, the narrative and deep themes and stuff, which is fun, which is awesome. I like being able to have a more chill series, and I'm always a sucker for romance anyways. Especially shoujo romance, as you know, and there's only 2 shoujo romances that I'm watching this season, so this is half of that. Fun. Also, I didn't realize until now this is JC Staff. I don't know what I've seen from JC Staff outside of Date Alive. Let's see. Oh, they did Bakuba. They did Saiki K. They did Konosuba. Dungeon Meshi. That actually makes sense. What? So, okay, maybe I'm just a bum because there's a lot of great series up here. I don't see Date Alive. There's no way Date Alive scored this low. The first 3 seasons. Was Date Alive not JC Staff? Am I tripping, guys? Let's go by members. I know Date Alive has to have a lot of members. Guys, where the fuck is Date Alive? Where's Peak? I gotta investigate. I know it's JC Staff. Let's just go to Date Alive 2. That was still the old series. The old Production IMS declared bankrupt. No. Wait. So why did I think they were JC Staff the whole time? Oh, they did Season 3. So I just must have been confused because Season 3 still has a similar art style to 2 and 1. And then 4 is where it drastically started looking different. And then the Data Bullet movies as well. So I must have just assumed that the first 3 all shared the same studio. Oh, there's also My Eerie Judgment. Forgot about that. Okay, so Data Life 3 is JC Staff. Data Life 3, Season 3 is very good, to be fair. I'm very hyped for the next season. I don't know if it's the final season or not, and then I'm finally going to read the novels. But that's not what we're here for today. Let's get back to seasonal anime. Alright, you and I are polar opposites. Manga reader for this one here. Really cute. My old philosophy was like, I put things that I've already read the original of kind of on the back burner unless it's like my favorite series ever, something I'm super hyped for and is going to have the greatest adaptation ever. So like JJK, which is going to have a peak adaptation because it's a great adaptation, or something like Frieren, which I think like the story is absolutely peak and I just love to see this animated. But then there's like You and I Are Polar Opposites, which is a very good series, don't get me wrong, but it's it's not like going to be in any of my top 10 conversations for anything. But these days my philosophy is changing a little bit, and I think that's just because you go back and forth. Sometimes you really like to read manga. Sometimes you really like to read light novels, visual novels. Right now, I've been in that anime mood this last year or so. So I don't mind watching an adaptation that I otherwise probably would have just saved for a little bit later. And I'm really excited for it because this is a series that I really enjoy. I think it uses some cliches, but shifts them in a way that I really enjoy. You know, there's just little things of the series that, while it's framed like a lot of other shonen romances, it sets apart quite well. In a sea of shonen romance slop, this is a pretty good one. I'm sorry to use the word slop. I hate it as much as everybody else, but it's kind of funny to say sometimes. There was a cute girl in the hero's party, so I tried confessing to her. This wasn't on my list. It's still not. It's an isekai. I'm not even going to read the thing. If you like it, go for it. For anything that I'm not watching, if I'm missing out on peak, if you're going like, Eddie, you're dumb. Why are you not watching this? Just let me know. Try and convince me. And if anything, always a few weeks into the season, I reassess and see like, okay, is there anything that everyone's super hyped about that I'm missing out on? Or any like sleeper hits? So I try to be on to that a bit. Next, we got Mayanaka Heart Tune, or Tune into the Midnight Heart. This one has episode 1 out so far. It's fine, but I do find it really entertaining for the main character's dialogue. And I think it'll be, good enough for the type of series it is. I'm not expecting, like, peak fiction, but I think it'll be a fun week-to-week time. There's not much more to say about that. And I just hope they do more ASMR stuff because it's about voices and stuff. So y'all know I love my ASMR. I go to sleep to it almost every night. So if we can get some ear noises and stuff and some just speaking into the ear, I'll take it. All right, next we've got In the Clear Moonlit Dusk. This is on my for sure list. I'm pretty sure. It hasn't started yet. What the hell are they showing me here? Can we get this off my screen? What the fuck was that? Come inside. And this will be my third shoujo romance. It's one where the main character is a female who looks quite prince-like. You know that trope in anime. But we get another prince. A man prince. And it seems like it'd be a cute little shoujo romance. Guys, I'm always going to say shoujo is peak. So shoujo peak, we'll be watching that when it starts. Next we got Journal of Witch. First episode came out. Love the art direction. This one seems like it's going to be a banger. It's a very character-driven show of growth. From what the first episode gave me vibes of. You know, main character has to take her niece in because her niece's mom and dad died. The mom being the main character's sister who she hates. So it's like one of those really interesting things because she doesn't hate the niece, but she also doesn't know her very well, I assume, and doesn't love her because it just doesn't know her and can't provide that motherly love, but can provide a guardianship and kind of be a teacher / learner from each other. And there's a lot of stuff in there that I think will be a very, very important to explore as humans. With this being really grounded as well, there's just so much potential for pure dialogue without any other flashy stuff not getting in the way. Because let's take a battle shonen for example, the easiest example because it's really popular. You can still have extremely deep stuff and a lot of similar things that maybe a series like this would present as the ideologies with characters, presented themes and just things as your message to the audience. But it's going to be shown differently. It's going to be shown through fights. It's going to be shown through conversations between rivals. It's going to be shown through all these different outlets. And the selling point is still the flashy stuff. With this, because there is no forefront of that, it's actually more in your face in a good way. And it's just more relatable because it is just realistic people who live normal day-to-day human lives like we do. So for some people, I think that makes it easier to latch on. For others, maybe the battle shonen route is more easier to latch on to because some people, I think, relate to different characters for different reasons. And, you know, you don't necessarily need to relate to a character for how they live. It could just be how they think. It could just be for how they respond to situations. So I hesitate to put too much importance on the fact that this is realistic in comparison to other things. It's just another interesting thing that I'm thinking about as I'm talking because I like thinking about the differences in things and how our reactions to things manifest depending on what it is. So I don't know, just another yap fest. If I could put it into more easy to explain words, I definitely would. Oh, I told you I was going to talk about this. I don't remember the full name of it. Shiboyugi playing death games to put food on the table. First episode fucking slapped. And I wasn't going to watch this one either. This was in my maybe, but I was like, ooh, you know, already got a lot. We got to start cutting things down. But the first episode came out today. It was 47 minutes. Guys, okay, Studio Dean is doing it. I don't really know how Studio Dean has been since 2006 because, like I said, I really like Fate Stay Night for what it is. Oh, they did the Higurashi anime? This is the old one, though. I also realized my MAU has not been updated since my anime list video in, like, 2020 or something. Holy shit. There is, like, nothing on here. I don't know what some of these are. I don't know what this is. I do really want to watch this zombie one, though. But yeah, I mean, if we're going just by recent stuff. Oh, they're doing this anime, which is also in my maybes. Oh, wait, why are they doing so many anime this season? Because I also watched this one. We're going to talk about it later, and I really like this one so far. Last season, they did a few. I didn't watch any of those. What was the last anime I watched? They did the last Sailor Moon movie? What? Did they do the one before that too? What? How much of Sailor Moon Crystal did Dean do? I didn't know this. I thought it was just Toei. Okay, the seasons had to have been just Toei, right? Yeah, okay, that makes sense that the movies, they employed the help of another studio. That makes sense. Fair enough, Studio Dean. You know what? I didn't recognize your game because I really like Sailor Moon Crystal. I say while I'm wearing an OG Sailor Moon shirt. Look, guys, I can enjoy both adaptations. I love the vibes and aesthetics of original Sailor Moon. Nothing will replace how beautiful it looks. But let's admit it, Sailor Moon Crystal adapts the manga better. And that's fine. I still have problems with Sailor Moon Crystal, specifically the original look with the CG models and the art style, kind of attempting to translate the manga, but also not at the same time. So just kind of looking like this weird kind of version. And then later on, they ended up making them look a little bit closer to their 90s counterparts, which I actually really enjoyed and thought was kind of cute. So yeah, I think the adaptation, while starting a bit iffy, became quite strong after fixing some of those mistakes. But yeah, the first episode of this was fire. And this is why I do like those hour-long things, because I had a 47-minute premiere, and I was like, this is on my maybes, and it's a 47-minute premiere. I don't even want to watch it no more, but I did. And from the start, I was hooked. They took advantage of that almost hour. It was a very tense 47 minutes. And there's this little thing they do in certain scenes where it's like more zoomed out and the characters are farther away, where it kind of looks like a painting and the characters' faces are just the skin color. And aesthetically, I mean, they all wear the maid stuff, so it just has like a visual, recognizable kind of language going on if you compare it to other series. It's a lot better than I thought it would be too for a death game thing, because I've seen a lot of death game stuff, because I kind of like the trope admittedly for its suspense, but a lot of them are kind of dog shit, to be honest. This one, while I'm not 100% sold on the level of what I think it is so far, it's at least good, because the presentation was fantastic. Everything was there that I would want out of a death game thing, and I'm just really, really, really looking forward to the next episodes. I don't even know what to say off that. They do other little quirks, kind of like, if you see Monogatari, between chapters that they adapt, they show what chapter it is. And I'm not sure if that's what this does, but I'm pretty sure that's what it does, because it started out with 1 out of 23, 2 out of 23 after certain scenes, and it just kept going. I actually love that it's acknowledging the light novel roots, and the atmosphere, the music, everything just really built it up really well, keeping you wanting to keep watching. It did not feel like 47 minutes. So once again, while I am scared to hype up something too much off of episode 1, because things can very easily change, so far, pretty good. We'll see back in 12 weeks after the whole thing's finished, but I'm moved so far. Let's move on. Next we've got, what is this one called? It's another, is it Isekai? Noble Reincarnation. Not gonna watch it. I'm sorry. I already got an Isekai on the list, and it's better than this, in my opinion. Let's move on. But hey, welcome to convince me to watch this. Okay, Kunon, sorry, I don't know why I'm adding that to everything. Kunon the Sorcerer can see. Like this one. It's a guy who was born blind. He starts to learn magic at a certain age, I forget. And he comes to an epiphany, like, why don't I just become so good at magic that I can make my own eyeballs and see? He goes from this depressed guy into this super, not cocky, nor egotistical, just this kind of, almost a playboy in a way, which is kind of weird to say for his age, but he's flirtatious with the women. He's got the exaggerated swagger of a Japanese child. And just, I don't know, he just becomes a very outgoing person all of a sudden because, you know, he's happy now. So fair enough. And it's funny because I'm saying all this good stuff about this show while it's at a 6.76. And then there's other series that have a similar rating so far. And I'm like, get out of my face. But like I said, I don't care about my ratings. I care about what I think of the series. So, you know, but it is a good point of reference for the general audience's thoughts on things. If you need a more mass audience thoughts than just a couple people. So yeah, I really like this one's kind of goal, and I like its leading character. Let's move on. I forgot what this one's called. Something Darwin. The Darwin incident. I've been meaning to read the manga for this one for a while, and I still think I am just gonna wait to read the manga. Nothing against this series as adaptation. It just didn't make the cut so far because, unfortunately, I don't remember the exact number right now. We'll see at the end of this, I'm sure. But it was like 27 things I was watching or something, and then I had like 10 more on my maybes. You have to make some hard decisions to cut shit, and this just didn't make the list. This did not make the list. Medalist Season 2, guys! If you haven't seen Medalist, I know it's not on any official things for America to watch, so it's kind of hard to watch, but there's ways. Please watch it. I might be forgetting something, because outside of Yuri on Ice, I can't really think of any other ice skating series. But this is my second ice skating series, unless I'm forgetting something. And I like Yuri on Ice, but I more remember it for the romance that was cooking as opposed to the actual skating. But also, I watched that in high school, which was a while ago, so it could just be a thing of not remembering. So I'm not saying that Yuri on Ice doesn't do this, but Medalist does a really good job at focusing on the specifics of ice skating, because any good sports anime can educate the people that don't know anything about the sport on it. I don't know anything about ice skating. I always think it looks really neat, and it is a beautiful sport. And seeing it through the eyes of these characters, one of the bigger messages behind it is it's never too late to start something, because in a lot of sports, but especially ice skating, they make it a point to be like, if you didn't start at this age, then you're already behind, because, you know, people start from 5 or whatever. The main character being in the double digits already, I don't remember if it was 10 or 11, was already too late, quote unquote, to become really great at this. And her coach went through something similar, so he really wanted to help her achieve her dreams, because there should be no reason a child of any age should be told you're too late to get good at this or to get to where you want to be. That's just fucked up. I understand the thought behind it, I guess, but I just don't think that's right to think that. And it's also just a problem I have with some higher end sports in general, because it's like only rich people can get into them, or just get into them easier and faster. That's why you more often than not see the poor demographics doing things like basketball, because all you need is a ball, and there's hoops in a lot of places. While you'll see more commonly well-off demographics doing things like golf, like tennis, because they can more commonly afford it. It is a real-life subject, and this is why once some people finally get into maybe a quote-unquote richer sport later in life, they're already behind. So it's just something that I think is really unfortunate in real life already. Now, that's not the reason why the main character didn't start skating in Medalist. It's because her older sister was a great skater, but she fell and hurt herself, and it was just kind of like traumatic for the parent. Didn't want to start her on it. But it does make me think of that, because good media can make you think about real life, okay? That I as much as I want to use it for escapist as much as the next person, I still inadvertently end up thinking about real life while watching it, because that's what good media does. Media is a reflection of our current lives, or the person who's making its life. I'm sorry to bring real life into it and ruin your immersion, but yeah, the thing I was talking about, it doesn't have as much to do with Medalist as it does to do with just my overall thoughts on like different sports in the barrier to entry, because it can lead to those things that do happen where it's like a kid comes in really late to things. But there is a lot of nuance amongst the topic, because I mean, you have parents starting kids in sports because the parent lives their dreams through them, not letting the kid be a kid. There's parents that won't let their kids do sports. There's all sorts of things that can lead to a kid being able to have their full potential in a particular field or not, whether it be sports or any other extracurricular. And you know, I am not the right person to fully flesh out that dialogue. I just have my thoughts and I say them. But yeah, Medalist, super good. And the opening, guys, is a Kenshi Yonezu classic, so just watch for that. and yeah, it's just really well done. Who does it? Studio ENGI. I don't. What the fuck? They did Medalist. Obviously. They did it. The same studio that did Uzuki did Medalist. That's so crazy to me. And once again, I haven't updated them out. 8.37. Once again, 8s. If you see an 8 in my anime list, it's probably pretty good. I feel like I can at least trust the 8s. 7s, I can't trust 7s. 7s is everyone's average on my anime list. I can trust an 8. Let's move on. Oh, this is something Eris. The Holy Grail of Eris. Episode 1 came out today at the time of recording this, and I had fun with it. You know, it seems to be kind of like this mystery series with some supernatural element behind it. I'm realizing as I say this, I'm just describing the actual genres already put forth by my anime list. But I don't know. It's also got cute poster girl, the one wearing red right here. So, you know, what's there not to like, I guess. But yeah, not bad so far. I don't think it's a must watch, but I watched it and I started it, so I'm gonna finish it. Alright, MF Ghost's 3rd season. Not gonna be watching. Would like to someday, but not there right now. Next one, we got one that I did have in my maybes, but I think I'm going to take it out, unfortunately, just because there's already so many things. This is Easygoing Territory Defense by the Optimistic Lord. Production magic turns a nameless village into the strongest fortified city. All I know about this is that title. I haven't even read the synopsis. And yes, this does seem like some isekai slop, I understand. But I kind of sometimes like the light novels with really stupidly long names and a really random niche, because sometimes it can be some of the funniest isekais. So while I wanted to give this a chance, I just don't think I'm going to have the time to, because I'm already watching too much. But if maybe that'll change. Let me know what you think of this when it starts airing, or if it already started airing. It already has a score, so it probably started already. All right, next we've got the one that I really like. This started yesterday at the time of recording this. Isekai Office Worker. The Otherworld's books depend on the bean counter. And, you know, main character runs after this random girl that he sees in the alleyway, getting pulled into a portal. He tries to save her, but he ends up getting pulled in too. She was pulled in for a reason, to help save their land from some shit. He's just an innocent bystander. But as an innocent bystander, they said, oh, we'll take care of you. All your needs are met. He said, because he's a former black company worker, he's in that corporate slave mentality, he said, can I have a job? And they gave him one. But the first episode was very neat, and it is an example of, like I said earlier, the non-action centric isekai, where it's like a party going to beat the demon king or whatever, where they focus on other aspects of the fantasy world's life through the eyes of a character that is a lot closely related to us, because they're from our world as opposed to a world like this, like a normal fantasy would be. They're always a bit easier to get into for me, because I don't feel sick of them immediately like some of the more traditional isekai, just because the tropes have been done to death. Also, this one is a BL, which I did not know going into it, but I think it's really cool. You don't often see that combination, or at least I haven't. So shout out to the gays. Next we've got The Invisible Man is soon to be wife. This first episode actually came out today. It's still in my maybes. Main character can go invisible. Perfect for detective work. However, the blind Yako can still figure out where he is, even if he disappears. And they become attracted to each other. Seems like it'll be really sweet. And I'm sure I'll have a soft spot for this. So I still plan to watch it at some point. Just not sure if it'll happen right now. But I am moved by the synopsis. Alright, next we've got Wash It All Away. This is just not happening. I believe this is a slice of life. With an endearing protagonist and luscious art, the seaside slice of life story offers tranquility in the chaos of the modern world. For 2 years, Wakana has run a laundry service. Okay. Although Wakana has no knowledge of her past, her cleaning services safeguard memories imbued in customers' precious items. Sometimes I am moved by amnesia main characters, but you're not going to get me that easily this time. I don't know. I don't mean to say this in a mean way, but just nothing here is really appealing to me right now. Whether it be the image or the PV or just the description. That could change. Maybe there's some shit that I just don't know about the series that wasn't explained here that's really crazy and bananas. Once again, we'll give it a few weeks, see what the people are saying. But as of now, I just don't have any interest in it. Not watching it. I'm sorry. However, I am interested in Hana-kimi, the legendary shoujo 90s manga turned anime in 2026. I've not read the manga, which is actually very surprising for me because of how shoujo brained I am, and it's a 90s manga. But you know what? I'm really liking the anime so far. It is a bit tropey, and you can really tell its age because the response to certain things would be a lot different in today's age with the more acceptance of like transgenderism and different things, because it's a series where the main character is a girl but dresses up as a boy. She's not trans, but it's like the Mulan thing. In like older things like this, you would see someone seeing someone who looks feminine but is saying they're a man, and they're like, oh my god. But nowadays people wouldn't even think twice about it or even like make it a big deal. Put that aside, I mean, it's a fucking anime and it's a series from the 90s, so I don't think about that while watching it. It's just an interesting thing on how, you know, tropes and things have evolved with time and reflections on society and other things. As I mentioned, media is always a reflection or a response to the society we live in. Whether you understand that or not is not my job. It's just not. But random real life yapping aside, cute series so far. Super excited for more, man. All right, next we've got, this one's a fucking harem. You can't be in a rom-com with your childhood friends. Yeah, I already got one harem slop called Maya Nakatoon Heart. I'm not going to add 2 to my list. I'm good. And that one, with all due respect, seems to be better than this one. So, I'm sorry, you're not making the cut. Alright, next we've got The Villainess is adored by the Prince of the Neighbor Kingdom. It's in my maybes. Now I know this is also Studio Dean. I don't know. I don't really have much to say about this one. But you know, I'm kind of moved by Villainous story sometimes. I don't know. We'll see what happens whether I watch this or not. I'm leaning towards yes, but we'll see. All right, next we got the second season of It's Time for Torture Princess. How have I never heard of this? Oh no, okay, I've definitely seen this character. I've not watched this though. You know what? Maybe I'll read the manga. It seems a little goofy. It seems like something fun. I'll keep that one in mind. I'm not gonna watch Season 2, obviously. I have not seen Season 1, but that might be just one that I read the manga for. I don't know. It looks kind of silly, though, you know? Alright, next we've got Hell Mode. The hardcore gamer dominates another world with garbage balancing. I remember reading this synopsis while I was still deciding if I was going to watch some Isekai slop this season, because normally I have one. But I don't know. This doesn't excite me. I mean, I don't hate it, but I also don't love it when a series goes like, oh, this character's actually at a big disadvantage, and then they're just not. It's actually something that they quite easily work around to make it the biggest advantage. And in this one, it seems to be one of those, because he's in hell mode difficulty and he doesn't have walkthroughs, games, guys, or whatever. And you know what? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's actually a slog of a way to the top, but I just have a feeling off that big ass smile on his face and the random knockoff BB looking character. I'm just kidding. I don't know. You know, let's see what the light novel reviews say. Let's see. Is there anyone who's reviewed this? You know, it's actually kind of positive. Well, you know what? Maybe it's good. I'm not gonna promise anything, but maybe we'll throw it in the maybes. But realistically, that means it's probably just gonna get cut. I don't know. I'm at the stage where I'm like, you know what, if the reviews of the source material are positive or more positive than I assume they'd be, I'll hear you guys out if you want to convince me into watching it. Dead Account is also in my maybes. I don't know, there's just something about it. It is a gamer anime. I haven't seen too many of those, but there's a lot of manhwa that I've read of that type of thing, and I really like how they show the fighting in the games and stuff. And this one seems pretty neat. You know, you literally got an online flame bait content creator as the main character, but he's actually a sweet guy who wants to take care of his sister. And it just seems like, I don't know, it just seems like it'd be a fun time. So this is probably going to get watched. It's just still in my maybes because I'm not 100% sure. Alright, next we've got, what is this one? Roll Over and Die. I remember this title being in my maybes, but I also made my maybe list like a couple weeks ago, so I don't remember all the synopsises for everything, so I don't really remember this one that much. But looking at it now, you know, that early maybes list was very preliminary. Well, I don't know if we're gonna watch this one. I'm not gonna lie to you. All right, next we got Kaya-chan, which is in my watch list. At first, I thought it would be just a pure comedy, but watching the trailer for it on my reaction channel, 88's Reactions, I noticed that it seems like it's got more meat on its bone than I thought narratively. Also, why do I keep getting these weird-ass ads? Get out of my face. I'm gonna have to blur this whole fucking thing. What the fuck is Cryteo? Get out of my face, man. I'm gonna push a button if you don't stop playing with me. But yeah, this one seems like it'll be neat. I'm gonna be watching it. All right, next we've got A Gentle Noble's Vacation Recommendation. I didn't even see it. Maybe I saw it, but just don't remember it. This is my first time looking at this. Oh, wait, no, I remember. Yep, city that bears similarities to his own, but it's not. So it's kind of an Isekai, kind of not. Kind of like a dimension shift thing. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's cool. Once again, just kind of overloaded by stuff already. Probably not going to check that one out. I think it might have been in my maybes at one point. I don't know. Next, in Adventurer's Daily Grind at age 29, I'm good. I'm sorry. What is this? The Demon King's daughter is too kind. Oh, I think this one's in my maybes too. There's something about series and the dichotomy between like a demon king and then the cute girl that accompanies him in a lot of manga. And I always find it fun every time. I could easily be moved on this. Oh, episodes 1 and 2 were streamed 2 days ago. Regular broadcasting began yesterday. We might have to peep this. This has moved farther up the maybes. I will recheck the maybes today because I am finally recording this video. I've been kind of checking them just whenever the show comes out, and I'm like, do I feel like watching this now or not? But I think I'll actually just go through it and finally solidify my list today. This video has kind of helped a lot. Champignon Witch. This one started today. Watched episode 1. Haven't started episode 2 yet because it was a double drop. And I really like the art direction. It's pretty neat. Don't have too much to say of the series as a whole yet because we're still very early. And it wasn't one of the crazier premieres in terms of content. It was just a very normal introductory sort of thing. Really getting us used to the character and other characters' responses and thoughts on her. Vibe-wise, I think we're cooking. I think this could be a little neat one. Let's move on. Dark Moon. This one is in my maybes, and I am pretty moved by it. I like vampire series as much as the next guy. I'm already watching another one this series with the Casebook of Arne. And yeah, we'll see. Future Eddie here. I accidentally made fun of a witch and they turned me into a marketable plush. But what does this have to do with the video? Well, I wanted to mention I did watch Dark Moon, and I didn't realize going in that this was based off of the N-K-pop group's story. They have connected storylines in music videos and webcomics and stuff. In a lot of the K-pop music sphere, it's a thing that just happens. And I didn't realize this was one of those things. So that actually makes me more inclined to enjoy it because I do enjoy N-. While on the flip side, things that are very multimedia connected have the tendency to be lower quality when it comes to the anime version because it's more promotion than substance. But we will see. Look forward to the full review. This is a confirmed watch. Oh, speaking of the Casebook of Arne, only saw one episode. Still don't have thoughts on this because the first episode was a misdirection of thinking that this was going to be how the series go. This is going to be the main character, and this is what we've shown as our marketing, and the poster that I'm looking at right now, and this is just not the fucking case. Also, didn't realize this when I started it. It's based off a game. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have started it because most of the time I don't like watching game adaptations. Game adaptations and visual novel adaptations I tend to stay away from the most because they're the easiest to fuck up because of games. Gameplay comes first normally, and then story is right there, whether it's second or tied, but gameplay is normally the forefront of what makes something good because it is a game. That is the point. So removing that makes it hard. Visual novels. Dialogue is the most important aspect because that is the interactive form of what that medium is. So by making an anime, you inherently have to cut that down plenty. So that makes it really hard. Light novels follow the same struggle, but it's just not nearly as bad because they're not nearly as wordy. If anything, it's a lot less because it is a light novel. Manga are very easy to translate to anime. It's pretty much just copy and paste anime. But I did start it, and yeah, I mean, I'm having fun with it. Just don't know where we're gonna go because it seems like the rest of the series is gonna be a little bit different than what the first episode made us think it was gonna be until the end. But I actually did like the misdirection. I was like, holy shit, on a particular scene. And the opening is fire as fuck. Guys, this recording is already an hour and 5 minutes long, and we're not even like halfway through them. Holy shit. Oh, never mind. It's because we got a lot of TV continuing ones, but we're not watching most of those right now anyways. All right, guys, we're almost there. Next we've got, this is another maybe, I don't know. It's called The Daily Life of a Part-Time Torturer, and I don't know. Like, I'm sure they've got some funny switch up on it, and like, you know, it's like despite it being torture, it's a little silly thing, but you know, I just don't know. I have no clue. We'll see, but this is like on the lower maybe, and you know, I have words. All right, next we've got Scum of the Brave, and this is another one where it's my bad habits returning to me. Even though this season I made a point of watching more trailers, I actually have a trailer for this pulled up for the reaction channel today, so I'm gonna record that right after this. But just off of the poster alone, I see, well, it wasn't this poster, but I saw this girl over here with this hair and these eyes, and then I see the design style, and I'm like kind of moved, which unfortunately has led me to watching many shit series, but this might not be one of them. Scum of the Brave is on the higher maybes purely off of me liking the art. All right, next we have got Reincarnated as a Dragon Hatchling. This is still in the maybes. I like monsters. This one is a person isekaiing as a little dragon. I don't know. It could be cute slash funny slash, I mean, it says there's action in there. As long as we're not getting any romance between him as a dragon and the girl right here, I think we'll be okay. All jokes aside, though, you know, it does seem like it would be one that, you know, I just have a nice little fun time with, and you get to see some cool monster designs, which is something that I always like as a Pokemon, Digimon, Bakugan, all the Mons enthusiast. I always like to see more monsters and dragons and shit. All right, next we've got another one that's on the maybes, but I'm thinking of taking it off. I don't know. Misanthrope, I don't even know how you fucking say that word, teaches a class for Demi-Humans. You know? And it's just one of those series where it's easy to have an idea of off of the poster, but I could just be wrong. Because it's even says drama right here. So, like, I see this and I think, like, silly slice of life with, I don't know, different animal character shenanigans stuff that you get from those types of series. I don't know, because they all have different, like, quirks. So I don't know. We will see it. Once again, feel free to try to convince me on this if you want to, or convince me against it. I don't know. I'll listen to both sides of the spectrum. All right, next we've got the second season of Anyway, I'm Falling in Love with You. I thought about it. I was thinking about just binging the first season and getting to this, because it did air rather recently, and I meant to watch it then. I just didn't. Or at least I think I meant to watch it then. I don't know. But it's been something that I've been interested in because of the original premise. But at this point, it just does seem like something I might just read the manga for. Be faster. And, you know, and then maybe I'll see if I want to watch the adaptation after. Alrighty. I think the rest of these are all just not watches, but we'll see. Okay, Blue Miburo Season 2. I haven't seen Season 1. What is this? Oh yeah, Hell Teacher. Didn't see part 1. Oedo, Fire Slayer, The Legend of Phoenix. I don't remember if this is in my maybes or not. This is one where I really have no idea of any idea of whether I'll like it or not. Okay, I started watching the main PV. Not to throw any shade. I just, I don't think I'm gonna watch this one personally. But if you do, I hope you enjoy it. Alright, next we've got Saoishi no Gike wo Medu Tame Nagaiki Shimasu. Not sure what that translates to exactly, unless they wrote it somewhere. But Isekai. You know, there is something about the art. I don't know whether I really like this art style or not. I'm not sure how to feel about that art style, but I wonder what to look at animation. Let's see, because that looks like a light novel cover, and this all looks like or at least like still art, not. Oh, is this a moving comic adaptation, not necessarily a normal anime? That would make more sense. Okay, it's 4-minute episodes, so it is one of those. That makes sense. I'm not gonna watch it, but I always appreciate the moving comic genre for what it is. I just wish we got more better ones. Next, we got the second season of Yoroi-Shinden Samurai Troopers. I haven't watched this show, but y'all know me. Anything Toku inspired, I would love to watch. But there's a ton of other stuff in that series, and it's an old one as well, and I just haven't gotten into the whole franchise. It is on the list though for someday. Looks very cool. Next, we have got Omae wa Mada Ganma wa Shidanai Ure wa Ban. Okay. And I think this is another moving comic one, unless this is just the trailer doing that. I don't know. You know, once again, I'm not planning to watch this. All right, High School Kimen Gumi, 2026. Does that imply there's another alternative anime? And there is. Ooh, so it is older, which I kind of gathered from this photo, because you can tell by like hairstyles and eyes generally like what time it came from. I feel like not on my list as of now, but who knows? Maybe I'll watch a trailer and we'll go from there. But as of now, don't expect me to watch this. It seems like it'll be silly. I'm gonna check out the PV real quick. You know what? It's upgraded to maybe, but it's a light maybe. It's a very uncommitted maybe, just because I'm already watching too much. Next we got Kanagawa ni Sunderu Elf, motion manga adaptation. It looks like. Not watching. Yami Shibai 16, not watching, and we're just not watching any of the ones down here. If you're going to, awesome. Next, we got continuing manga, obviously, Tojima, Kamen Rider series, goated, love letter to the Kamen Rider franchise, Digimon Beat Break. Sorry, but I am not currently watching the 50 millionth episode of Crayon Shinchan. Maybe I'll catch up before the next before the next season of anime starts. I do need to get acquainted with Maruka-chan somehow. I don't think I'm going to watch all the episodes, because I'm sure it's also another case of a billion episodes, but I saw Otto's version of the opening, and that was really sweet. Princession Orchestra, I am continuing. It's about almost 40 episodes in. It is a slapper. Ganglion, I still haven't watched, although I did plan to watch it, and I still do plan to get to it. It is probably the only winter one that I said I was going to watch that I haven't gotten to, or at least that I remember. It is probably the only summer one that I confirmed I was going to watch that I haven't gotten to yet, because I totally forgot. So I'll probably watch it. I mean, it was only 3-minute episodes, so I'm sure we'll get to it really quick. I'm not currently watching the new Precure. Sorry, everybody. And now for ONAs. We got Steel Ball Run. Of course, I'm going to watch. We're also going to be watching this movie here, Cosmic Princess Kaguya. It comes out on Netflix on the 22nd. Definitely expect a review on the anime channel then. Really hyped for that flip on a old folk tale in the Japanese sphere. Prism Rondo looks very good. Gonna be peeping that. Tearman is one where I'm like, I've always wanted to get into the webcomic of it. Depending on how the adaptation looks, I might check it out, but it just still seems like one I'll probably check out the original for. And then movies. Obviously gonna be checking out Madoka Magica's 4th movie. Fucking peak incoming. I plan to watch the Assassination Classroom movie. It seems like a Horimiya Pieces sort of deal, where it's like just stuff that wasn't adapted in the original series. Although I don't remember much of the original series because I watched it way back in the day. So maybe this is my sign to finally read the manga. Next, All You Need Is Kill. I'm actually watching that next Friday at the time of recording this, so definitely getting a review. The Gundam Hathaway movie, I haven't been able to find anywhere near me playing it, so I don't know if I'm going to be watching it, but once I get access to it, yes. Love Gundam, one of my favorite franchises. Oh, this one. I forgot the English title, but this one looks really good as well. A New Dawn. A New Dawn. I saw Dynamite on the poster and was like, oh shit. And then the art style moves me. What is this one? I don't know. It looks cute. It's got a nice art style, and it's a movie. We'll probably peep it when available. Same with this one and this one. It's just like, I will always just check out anime movies just because I love cinema, and I like anime movies because they always look really good. Quality varies, but most of the time I feel like I come out of them thinking they're good. Milky Subway movie, which is stitched together a compilation of the anime with new scenes. Once it's available, I'm assuming it'll be on YouTube. Maybe it'll have a limited theater release in Japan or something. But once I can watch it, I will. And that'll be cool. Not sure if that'll get a review because it's just a couple new scenes, I'm assuming. Just letting y'all know that I do like Milky Subway. And specials, I'm not watching either of these. So yes, that is my plans for winter 2026 anime. Took a while to get through it, but we are now here. And yeah, I'm not going to be really making week-to-week TikToks or anything on them. I just made a bunch on my initial thoughts because I think it's fun getting initial thoughts down. And then I repeated some of those initial thoughts here. But as each series drops their first episodes, I'll continue to do initial impression TikToks on them. And then at the end of the season, I will make reviews on everything that I watched. So expect those. And yeah, what are you guys going to be watching this season? What are you most hyped for? What do you think is going to be like absolutely peak? And what am I missing out on? What did I say that I'm not going to watch? Or is it maybe that you're like, Eddie, watch it? Let me know in the comments. And yeah, peace. Goodbye. Also, subscribe.